Maybe you're just having one of those weeks. You got 6 finals you haven't studied for. Your car broke on the side of the road. Your girl left you. You're about to get fired. You're late on your rent. Just everything's falling apart. And then out of nowhere, for some reason, you hear one of the greatest beats of all time. And when you hear that boom bap style, you know what's coming next. The Jizza. GZA, the Jizza. One of the greatest MCs of all time. The Jizza was born in Brooklyn, New York, went to elementary school there, middle school, high school, and he ended up dropping out in the 10th grade. While in school, he took a fascination with hip-hop music, and for whatever reason, he liked Mother Goose, which is a children's rhyme book, and is what inspired him to rap originally. And through looking at those rhymes and studying those rhymes, he started to make his own. With those rhymes, he started a group with 2 friends, later to be the RZA and ODB. The group was 3 members, and it was called FOI. FOI had little success, but it was just enough to get RZA, not the whole group, Jizza, a deal with a record label. With that record label, he started making his own music apart from the group. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of promotion, and he had little success, but he had started his career. Later, he left the record company and went back to his old friends, the RZA and ODB, who had started a group called the Wu-Tang Clan, which was 9 members. Despite being late to that group, being one of the last of the 9 members to join, he was, according to the Method Man, and I quote, "We formed like Voltron, and Jizza happens to be the head." So for whatever reason, even though he formed late, once he got to that group, he kind of guided them to where they are today. Most likely, it was his wisdom and his strategic thinking, because out of all the members, he's known as the genius, Jizza the genius, and that's why he's the head of the Wu-Tang Clan. With the Wu-Tang Clan, because of his leadership, they got 3 platinum albums. That's 3 platinum albums when there was no streaming. So when you wanted to go buy an album, you had to go walk down to a record store and pick it up and then go home and listen to it. Or buy a CD. So a platinum album back then was crazy, and they had 3 of them. And from those 3 platinum albums and touring across the country and across the world, the Wu-Tang Clan grew a bunch of support and popularity, including the Jizza's personal fame. Through that fame, he went on his own and started making his own records again, like he did initially with the record company. Instead, he had a lot more success and had his own personal platinum album. A single platinum album back then, when you had to go and buy records at the store. This platinum album was called Liquid Swords, and according to the Harvard Crimson, it was up there in sales with the 3 platinum Wu-Tang albums. So by himself, he was able to get huge purchases and huge sales with his own personal album, which is amazing. Looking at the mentality of the Jizza, this is a quote from him: "Strictly excel in what is excellence with grace." And if you listen to his music and you listen to interviews with him, you can see he is not necessarily dictated by the money. His decisions are dictated by love of the game, love of music, love of rapping, love of being an MC. He loved to make records. He loved to see how he could fit words together and make rhymes. Another thing he said, this is also a direct quote: "Too many songs, weak rhyme, that's mad long. Make it brief, son, half short, twice strong." And what he's talking about is a lot of other MCs at the time he was making music would just build these elaborate bars, elaborate rhyme schemes, just to get as many rhymes as they could in, as many double entendres, play on words as they could. And they'd build these super long lines and lyrics, but they didn't mean anything. But what he's saying is, make it brief, son, half short, twice strong. So cut it in half and make it stronger, make it mean something. Which reflects on his own personal music, which was boom bap style, which it was just a lot of jabs and punches, just short bars that meant a lot and were very pungent. And then the boom bap style itself, the music was just a lot of snare and box drums looped over with samples. But together with his mentality, his style of music, he inspired a lot of people, including myself, to keep going through rough times. And that is why we say thank you to the Jizza.